Hello everybody and welcome back to Final Fantasy IV, and we're getting jumped on our way out of the Tower of Babel. Forget them. We've got a game to play. And we've got a villain to gloat at us. This has been fun. Bye-bye. And so he's pulled a Mario and chopped off our bridge over lava. Well. And hey, the party's back together. Oh, right, Sid never knew Rydia at any time. So, where's that whole showing off the firepower of the Enterprise? When were we going to do that? Never? Okay. Wait, do we even know how to fly this thing? Man, we went through so much trouble to open that hole, too. Sure thing, what are you gonna... Oh boy. And down it goes. Anyone got a spare magma key? Yeah, Kane's actual line in this scene is something like, "Why does everyone choose to die so quickly?" And Baron isn't too far from here once I remember which castle is. Which castle is right. So Sid's workers are right where they've always been. A hook? Oh, okay. And now we get the best pantomime that Final Fantasy IV sprites can offer. However, this still isn't the peak sprite pantomime that Squaresoft would reach with Super Mario RPG. Okay. Oh, that's very useful. There are two things we can do with the hovercraft now, but only one will actually be productive.
Okay, now we play the game of, hey, do you remember where you left that hovercraft about 5 hours ago? So we're going to head over to that cave, but there's something else we're going to do first, which is explore Eblon Castle, because there are some items that we want in there. Some that we don't, but more that we do. So, Eblon Castle has been destroyed, as we found out before. And because this is a castle of ninjas, a lot of the treasure is behind secret passages and all that stuff. I would even say most of it, or all of it even. Cabins are always a help. Hey, just have to make sure. There's no telling what you can find down here. Now, you can come here anytime after you get the airship the first time. However, actually coming here any time before now will be a serious problem, because this area has some pretty nasty monsters in boxes that you can't really take on until now. Okay. Yeah, my memory on these passages is a little bit fuzzy because there are so many of them. Okay, these are enemies that we'll be fighting in the actual cave, but we have everything we need to completely destroy them. Effort is more than enough to take out the skulls. And Kane just does whatever he wants, really. And away we go. Well. Huh. And our prize for this chest is the Sleep Sword, or I think it's called the... Oh, I forget what it's originally called. Oh well. I'll be able to look that up later. Aha, there's the... one of the problems of 16-bit RPGs. Okay, more gold and some mute arrows, and there might have been things in these pots, but I forgot to check. Oh, I can come back here later. So yeah, Eblon Castle has been wrecked. It didn't even have the crystal, it was just wrecked as a matter of principle. Can't leave too many towns intact by the end of the game, otherwise the villains look weak. Nope. Okay, so almost everything is on the next floor. 600 gold, that's nothing. This game has a few side areas like this, but there are a couple of really big ones that are going to be coming up fairly soon. And I'll be taking all of these. And some of this. Now, to get that chest up there, you need to use the warp spell. To get the monsters, you need to use the warp spell. Now, I'm having everyone defend until Rydia casts a spell, because the Black Cats have a counterattack called Blaster, or, well, Bluster in this version, that can cause either paralysis or instant knockout. And I prefer not to have to heal up from either of those, so I'm willing to tank attacks until Rydia can blow up everything. Yeah, it's like having Tella back in our party. The Drain Spear. It theoretically has a higher attack power than the Blizzard Spear we're using, however it imposes very high stat reductions on strength and agility, so its hits are actually much weaker. But it does drain hit points. But I won't be using it anyway. Okay, Mad Ogres. They are pretty much immune to most magic we have except one. Because for some reason, all magic does about 1 damage to these things except for the Mist Dragon. Now we make sure that Rydia can live to actually cast the spell, because these things hit really hard. And now, that was a mistake. Well, I'll take that result. Oh god. Well, take a good long look. That's the only physical attack kill that Rydia is likely to get for this entire playthrough. Okay, now that we've looted another ruined castle, time to heal up and go into the Cave of Eblon. Ah, save rotation. Oh! Well, if there was any doubt that you were going to get a ninja next, I think it's pretty well dispelled by now. Oh, more of these skulls. So, skulls hit reasonably hard, but their hits can also curse, which imposes large stat reductions. It's a really nasty status effect that starts really coming into play now. Thankfully, there's only really one boss that uses it. These are really just different versions of things we already fought in the Tower of Babel, so we can destroy those pretty easily. They don't really have any special attacks or anything like that. Anyway, this cave is also rife with the secret passages, which thankfully are highlighted in this version anyway. And there aren't that many monster types down here that are really a threat. The stuff in Eblon Castle was actually more threatening to us at this point. And I head back to make sure I didn't miss anything, because treasures are starting to get really valuable now. And nothing. Oh? Well, we have someone who can summon monsters. Okay, we've made it to the town where the survivors of Eblon are. Thankfully, being ninjas, they know very well how to hide, which means they managed to escape the worst of everything, unlike, say, the kingdom of Damsian. You don't say. We already have the ice armors, but we could use some of this. Oof, we're kind of overstocked. Man, after some later games I've been playing, like Trails in the Sky, having these inventory space limits just feels a bit weird. Goodbye, Flame Spear. Goodbye, both fire swords. Goodbye, armor that makes me weak to stuff I'm going to be facing from bosses. And there we go. Much more tidy. Let's see, I'll get a boomerang and one poison arrow. That seems about right. Surely that wasn't a mistake. I did only mean to buy the one. Did you now? Well, you're NPCs. It's your role in life. And thank you, D-pad. Whoops. we're just gonna see about that. Wait, the prince is digging there. I don't even know how that works. I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm just the protagonist. Yeah, the town is basically the midway point, or more or less. No, wait, there's actually quite a lot left to go. And here are the cave bats, otherwise known as the bane of speedrunners. Because their vampire attacks cause quite a bit of slowdown, which means running away from them takes a lot longer for these things than for other enemies. And that's pretty much all the encounters that are down here. But that's dangerous! Yeah, it's not the cave that really offers any of the major threats around you here. It's just the fact that you have to go into a really dangerous place after the cave. All these dungeons stacking on top of each other, this is beginning to feel like Final Fantasy III. And there's our X potion. Okay, here's how eggs work if you're not tremendously overpowered. Goodbye! Oh, Rydia is too good at this. And I'll be taking some of this, and a little of this, and some of that too. Haha, elixirs, great. Things that I may forget to use by the end of the game. And Rosa learned haste. I don't know exactly how much impact that'll have on my gameplay. Haste didn't become really overpowered in the SNES generation until like Final Fantasy VI. More monsters I don't really care about. More curing that I do care about. Yeah, early on in my RPG playing, I started to acquire a real obsession with healing. Can't say exactly when it started. Maybe Phantasy Star 3. Hello, Save Point. How are you? I'll be talking to you later.
And we have our monsters in a box, more of these golems that are no problem for us. I know I've been saying that a lot about the encounters around here, but sometimes trash is just trash. Boom. And there's the Drain Sword. Same caveats applied to the Drain Sword, otherwise known as the Blood Sword, as they do to the Blood Spear that I picked up earlier. The reason that the blood weapons were so incredibly powerful in Final Fantasy II is that they each hit did a specific percentage of the target's maximum hit points, making it really overpowered against bosses because the draining effect completely ignored the target's defense. The only way to reduce damage from draining attacks was to increase your character's evasion. Excuse me, who are you again? Prince Edge. If he's feudal nobility, does that make him a literal edgelord? I don't see this going well. So, what part of Fiend of Fire aren't you getting here, my good sir? Yeah, in the Japanese, that attack is called Inferno, which makes actual sense. And down he goes. I don't think he's waiting for anything. Well, buddy, you lost. Why don't you stay out of the fate of the whole world? Think you're just a spoiled prince? Believe it. You very obviously cannot take care of this yourself. You are not a Green Lantern ninja. God, you couldn't have bracketed them as sound effects? Oh well. Well, that sounds like a better idea than doing this one at a time. I think Kane's original line was something like, "For someone who's mortally injured, you're a real loudmouth." Hey, don't be hitting on Cecil's girl. I'm not your buddy, friend. Okay, I'll be talking more about Edge next time, but we're gonna go back and save because I've probably worn out my welcome with this video. Stupid monsters. So anyway, that's about it for now, so next time we'll be going back into the Tower of Babel.